bring it to a physical level and like read like what is the garbage that I've been telling myself. And hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobras Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. Today's video is going to be talking about the 2 phases of minimalism. Phase 1, which is the interaction with material stuff, and phase 2, which is dealing with the emotional stuff. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Woo. Before we get started, as usual, if you wish to help out my channel, you can consider checking out my Patreon. And if not, then just help me out with the algorithm by giving this video a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe. So let's get right into it. Okay, phase 1. So phase 1, I think, in people's minimalism journey is when people are still interacting with their material stuff. Like that's kind of the focus of their minimalism. At least that was for me. I'll just use myself as an example. Honestly, I can't speak for other people. But I found that when I first started off my minimalism journey in the first couple years, I was really focused on reducing my amount of stuff and then repurchasing things that I mistakenly decluttered, refining it, kind of like mini declutters here, mini declutters there, repurchases, in this kind of cycle for a couple of years. And then there came a point recently, I would say probably this year, so this is the 6th year, I realized that I don't care to repurchase and I don't care to declutter. Like it's kind of reached an equilibrium where there's nothing I need to declutter and there's nothing I need to buy. And I found freedom in that. I was like, okay, since I'm not fiddling with my stuff anymore, I've had a lot of space and room to kind of do more mental declutters. I kind of started doing mental declutters last year in 2020, with a certain, I had a lot of time to declutter a lot of baggage that I was carrying with me. I had a lot of emotional baggage in terms of like my relationship with money, with my body, with my career, with my health. It's just growing pains, and I worked through a lot of that in 2020 and it kind of carried into 2021. And recently I feel like I'm finally starting to have that kind of peace with my stuff. So what I'm trying to say is I did a lot of shadow work in these past couple months since I've stopped fiddling with my material possessions. I think that stage of minimalism is where like the true and real benefit come in. Like don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of benefit that comes from having less stuff or curating your stuff or finding that sweet spot of the right amount of stuff for yourself. That is, wonderful. There's plenty of videos out there on the benefits of it. Save money, moving is really easy, less clutter in your house, more mental peace, definitely for sure. But that's not the point of this video. This video is actually talking about the next step, which is like the mental declutters. And I think touched upon as much, or at least it isn't for me. I think that a lot of beginner videos are always like tips and tricks, don't have duplicates, have a capsule wardrobe, and those are all great, but I don't see as many videos on like the emotional aspect of minimalism. In your mind, it's the exact same like a room or a home. It's filled with just the same amount of sentimental baggage, belief systems, paradigms that an addict would have. And unless people are really diligent about cleaning that on a frequent basis, it's got a lot of clutter up there. And I speak from experience. I don't know, maybe some people, they don't have anything up there. That sounds terrible. But yeah, for myself, there was a lot of things that I had to let go of that I didn't really think were issues, but there got to a point in my life where I kept making the same recurrent mistakes over and over again. And it just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm 29 and these things are still happening. I can't keep looking at the surface level of these emotions, these thoughts, and these paradigms. I decided to go deeper into the mind. And I started to kind of unpackage all of the boxes, all the stored memories, thought processes, beliefs, and I just started taking everything out and I started questioning stuff like, who am I really? What hurt me in the past? Who am I still angry with? Who have I not forgiven? What am I still angry at myself for? What are the things that have made me happy in the past? What are my goals? What are my aspirations? Where am I going with my life? Are certain goals and life dreams still applicable to who I am now, given that I've changed a lot since becoming a minimalist? Letting go of certain belief systems that I had about ex-boyfriends, certain expectations and ideologies that I had about what I thought social media was and my self-worth. In the recovering stages of an ED, I heard it never really goes away, but I'm doing really well. It's been, I think, in the beginning of 2019 in March, so I would say almost 3 years, and I'm in a really good place mentally because I've been unpackaging, I guess, for the past 3 years. Diet culture and this systemic repression of women and their bodies, and just letting that go and deciding for myself that I am an autonomous being with my body. I guess my relationship with money is definitely, it warrants its own video. But I've had the space to look at all of these things. I have not been fiddling with my stuff. My clothes are fine. I haven't decluttered anything. I just feel so much peace that I've had a lot more time to not feel guilty that I'm taking this self-care time to kind of clean out all of my thoughts. And I do so by taking my like diary, and like I write out these things, and I'm able to kind of like bring it to a physical level and like read like what is the garbage that I've been telling myself, and cleaning it out and making space for new thoughts. I've been writing back into my journal thoughts that I do want to kind of reincorporate into my thought process and my belief system. I've been telling myself, you know what, like you're special, you're worthy, you're lovable, you're kind, you're caring, kind of overriding hateful things that have been said to me in the past, and also rewriting the resentment that I have to those people and telling myself that those things are what others said, that's what others think, that isn't what I think. It's only true when I believe it's so. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Of course, I'm saying like constructive criticism is different. We're not talking about that. You guys know what I'm talking about, like that toxic, damaging stuff that sometimes we carry with us and we think that it's us, but it really isn't. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, was like Zen has really helped me a lot with realizing like that Buddha nature, who you truly are. I kept going down this rabbit hole trying to find my true self, but I have found a lot of peace in this idea that our identity is just a mask and we can be anybody that we want. That makes me feel very free in that I don't even have to be anybody if I don't want to. I could just be maskless and just be nothing, and that's fine too, because I think sometimes we find, or at least I have felt a lot of pressure in having to find my life's purpose and to be a certain kind of person and find your true self. I don't have that pressure for myself. I'm indifferent. I don't put labels on myself. I'm not striving to fit a certain cognitive bias to comfort somebody else. I am who I am in all elements of myself. Like I live in the duality that is me, you know, sometimes we're some of this and some of that. I think honestly it's just like a big muddy pile of gray. It's not just black and white as sometimes we think life is. Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Minimalism, phase 1, fiddling with your stuff. When you're done fiddling with your stuff, you enter phase 2, which is cleaning out the attic, also known as our brains. So thank you for having taken the time to watch this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.